Home moves with me where I roam. It's in every dream I make my own. I'm never alone. I know that every day will always bring me something new.
Hi, Annette Hetrick, Acre Realty. I am sitting in front of school lockers, and not because I am going back to school. This is actually part of my office, but I wanted to give some tips about going back to school time to try and reduce the stress levels in your home. I feel like one of the things that probably causes the most amount of stress and anxiety is, what are we going to have for dinner? So one of the things that I used to do when my boys were home is I did a monthly calendar for the food. Now, I know that sounds like I'm super organized, and trust me, I am not. I have forced myself to be organized over the years so that, again, I can kind of reduce the stress in my life. So what I would do is I would print a calendar off of, my Google Calendar or whatever, my Mac calendar. But, sometimes you get free calendars. Sometimes someone's giving you a calendar, you don't know what to do with it. So whatever, but just that month with blank spaces in it. And then on a Sunday afternoon, or, maybe during a Packer game, maybe while the boys are sitting there doing their homework, I would kind of plot out the whole month. And again, it would take a couple of hours, but then that month was much less stressful for food. So print your calendar off, and then fill in all the important events that are going to happen that month. So, my younger son was a cross-country runner, so we would put in when he was having cross-country meets because we probably wouldn't be eating at home those nights. We would fill in when someone was coming for dinner. We would fill in when we were going to be gone. I would even put on there that maybe a night when none of our children were going to be home, because then we didn't really have to cook maybe. So anyhow, get that all filled in and then start to pick meals that you want to make. And we had kind of a black binder filled with recipes, plus a couple cookbooks, of course, as well, that I would kind of look through, and if, everyone was home, we'd say, what are you guys hungry for? Think about some things that you'd like to eat this month. The other thing is check and see what you already have in your freezer, in your cupboard, so that you're using those things up. So plan a meal, with things that you already have. So a good resource for that I used to use was All Recipes, is one of the websites you can fill in, like, I have mushrooms, I have chicken, and I have crushed tomatoes. What can I make? I think one mistake that I made initially is I was overzealous in my meal planning. Like, I'm going to make meatloaf, and then the next night I'm going to make stir-fried chicken, and then, so I had 5 days of kind of big prep meals. Don't do that to yourself. Think about, okay, this day I have the most time, so I am going to make something that, maybe requires a little extra time. Also think about, if I'm making a meatloaf, make 2 meatloafs, because I can freeze one. Chicken pot pies. Think about things that can easily be frozen, and you're going to put them on Tuesday the 8th in September, and you're going to put them on for a day in October that you're going to pull that second one out of the freezer. Also, think about things that you can make leftovers, but they don't have to be the same thing. So one of my favorite things to do, and one of my favorite meals, is a good old beef chuck roast. And you put it in the roasting pan, and you put potatoes and carrots and, broth, and it bakes. And typically we would do that on a Sunday afternoon, just like my mom did. But from that beef roast, then the next day you could have, beef sandwiches, or you could have a beef vegetable soup. And again, keep in mind, maybe it doesn't have to be the next day. I'm going to have the roast beef on Sunday. I'm going to cut up the leftovers. I'm going to throw them in a bag in the freezer. And in 2 weeks, I have beef vegetable soup on the list, because I know, we're going to have company over, and I'm going to add some bread and something else and a salad, and we're going to have a meal. Another thing to think about, and there's lots of resources for this as well, is freezer meals. So there is entire books about, prepping, like a whole day of prepping, but making a whole bunch of meals then. There's literally a book, I think, called Meals for a Month. And the other thing to think about are what are some easy meals, like if you do have children in events, so almost like a grab and go meal. I have seen, people that do the salad in the mason jars. So keep in mind too, we had some standbys. So almost every week, every other week, we would do some sort of stir fry. So chicken stir fry, beef stir fry, pork stir fry. We had a copycat Applebee's chicken salad that everyone loved. So that was on the monthly plan probably every month. But we also did, like pizza, tater tot casserole. Throw it on the list though, because then you don't have to think about it. The other thing that I feel really helped in our household was as my children got older, they were able to look at the menu and they were able to start the meal. And as they got into their high school years, they were able to make the meal. Both of our adult sons are very, very good cooks, and I attribute a lot of that to the fact that we had them help us ever since they were little. Wade had them cracking eggs in a bowl to make pancakes when they were 2. So definitely get your children involved. Have them give you feedback as to what meals they want. Once you've got your monthly plan in place, now you're going to make your grocery list, and you really could make one for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Now, you're still going to add, fruit and things like that you need, but you could say, I can go grocery shopping really for the whole month. I can throw the chicken breasts in the freezer and the hamburger in the freezer and get it out when I need it. Or, shop, if you love to shop every Saturday or every Monday morning. I don't like to shop. Anyway, the other thing that I think is very important as a family, and there are studies out there, lots of studies out there, to sit down as a family and have a meal together at a table. Not, sitting at the counter, not sitting in the living room with the TV on, but sitting at the table, having a meal, discussing what went on that day. I understand you aren't going to be able to do it every night, but 3 out of 7, 4 out of 7, try and make it a habit that everyone sits at the table. Because again, the children have helped prep the meal now. They help get it to the table. You sit down and eat, and now they're going to help put it away. They're going to help clean dishes. They're going to load the dishwasher, unload the dishwasher. So think about all those things that are stressful, but again, people do it together, family does it together. It really does help cut down on that stress. So we are going to attach some links to different websites that we think are useful. I'm going to encourage you to go to my website, because I'm going to have a full list on there as well. I really hope this cuts down on your stress. So if your children have not gone back to school, enjoy your last couple of weeks with them. If they have gone back to school, start planning your meals. Have a great day. Annette Hetrick, Acre Realty.